Hey folks, welcome. Here we discuss real stories by real people. Today we have the story of a man who divorced his wife after finding out about her affair. Let's see how it goes. Story 1. I, 47 male, just divorced my wife, 42, and I thought I'd let you guys who are thinking of getting married know why you should always sign a prenup. I was married to my ex-wife for 14 years and made really good money as an engineer the whole time. When I was a kid, my mom and pop always drilled it into my head to be careful with money and helped me out a lot along the way. So I ended up with really good credit and I was doing really well for myself by the time I met my ex-wife. She was always the opposite, always spending stuff she didn't have and just throwing it all away. Since her credit was in the dumps, my name was always on everything important like the car, the house, any loans we got, etc. When I told my dad I wanted to marry her, he took me aside and told me to make sure that I got a prenup. I didn't really get why at the time, but he just told me to trust him, so I did. My ex-wife agreed without really arguing, so it never came up after that. We had a beautiful son, and I was able to sell a side business that I had for a really good deal in the meantime. Well, I'm sitting at my friend and business partner's home having a beer when I get a call from my ex-wife saying she totaled her car, but not to worry about it and that she'll get it all settled. Well, I didn't know why she'd say that, so I started asking her about it. She had gotten into a car wreck on the other end of town while she was supposed to be at work, high school teacher. She was giving me the weird runaround about it, and it just didn't feel right. I went through her phone, yeah, I know, and saw that she had a lot of screen time in this calculator app for some reason. I check it out, find out it's a secret messaging app, enter the PIN she always uses, and what do you know, she's having an affair. The messages read like they were from a completely different person. Right after, I call up my attorney and start getting divorce papers ready. She never confirmed it, but I think she totaled her car on the way to see her lover, but didn't want me to know, so she acted all dodgy about it. Funny thing is, if she just acted normal, I never would have known. I show them to her later, let her know that I know what she's been doing, and I'm getting custody of our son. We fought it out in court, and long story short, because we signed the prenup and because I was getting ready to retire when the divorce was getting settled, I got the house, my functioning car, most of my money, and 50% custody of my son. So take it from me, kids. You might love your spouse and they might love you, but you should always be ready to sign at that bottom line if you're gonna go get a ring. You made a good point, OP. I'm sorry your marriage ended the way it did. But I'm glad you found out and the prenup you signed proved to be useful. When tying the knot, we all hope the marriage will be amazing and will last for our lifetime. Most people don't want to sign a prenup because they believe it's jinxing the marriage, but I think it's a good idea. It's never bad to be too careful. For the smallest possibility of the marriage not lasting a lifetime, a prenup is worth signing. Especially for cheating partners. I think it's unfair to give them so many things after they ruined the marriage all by themselves. Story 2. I just found out my wife is cheating on me for the 4th time. I'm a kind and forgiving person, dumbass. 2013. Caught my wife after she started acting really shady. Got suspicious enough and checked her phone. Found all the evidence in texts. She promised to stop. 2016. We've rekindled our marriage at this point, at least I thought so. We're traveling, going to shows, my career has taken off, and our family's doing great. Mid-year, something happens to me and I learn what depression is about. I don't know what caused it, but I went through it. Get medicated, and it starts getting better, and eventually goes away in a few months. Fall 2016. I caught her again. Same situation, different person. She acts weird for too long. I get suspicious, check logs, and check my phone. Evidence is there. Confront her, she begs forgiveness and says nothing happened and it's gonna stop. Spring 2017. She starts going out a lot, staying out late. I get suspicious. New guy, same shit. She's been texting this person in between bathroom breaks during our dates, trips, and on her Uber rides to meet me somewhere. I don't find out until a few months later, but at this point, I'm done. For the first time in my life, I get suicidal thoughts. I suffer through the end of the year, and we somehow make it to 2018. I've forgiven her, and we've moved on. It's a new day. If you look at my history, you'll see when I posted about 2 years ago about this. This is a throwaway, so that's all you'll see there. 2018. Things are rough, but we get by. We're both trying, but the history of betrayal is obvious in our relationship. We're practically roommates, but we get along very well. There's just little romance. I'm holding out, hopeful that we can repair this and move on. 2019. She starts going out a lot and staying out late again. Knowing the pattern, I immediately became suspicious. I find out that she's planning on cheating again, sending winky faces and literally telling the other person that she's down. She's just waiting for the right timing and moment. So she hasn't literally jumped on the dick yet, but I guess you could call this cheating. So Reddit, I'm done this time. At least I think I am. It's not a matter of if, but a matter of when and how. I just don't know if it's worth fighting for anymore. We've been dancing around divorce for about 4 years now, but there's so much to lose that we've kind of just lived with the disease and pain. I've realized now that I'm not meant to live my life this way, so I think I'm finally convinced to go through whatever this means. Child support, visitation, no money, anger, sadness, bullshit, losing touch with pretty cool in-laws, criticism from religious family members, etc. If it means I can be happy at the end of it. I'm not a materialistic person. All the materialistic stuff I did was for my family. I'm happy with a tiny shack and biking to work and some good friends. I'm pretty well grounded now mentally. I'm much stronger. And in a much better place. I feel like I can handle anything that comes my way. I guess I just needed to get this off my chest before it eats me up inside. My BFF ride or die homie that went through this same thing told me I should have one last conversation with her and to give her the ultimatum, but I feel like I've already done this. Should I have another conversation or just move on with filing? Any other ideas on how to save my marriage? We have kids, a beautiful home, a pretty good projected future if she could just stop her shit. Update 4 days later. I talked with a lawyer today and we discussed the situation. I also worked on a quick budget and what-if scenarios over the weekend to get a quick idea of what to expect short term. I think I'm good. Regardless of the aftermath, I'm feeling pretty confident I'll be okay with the financial outcome. I've set up 2FA on all my online accounts. I've been thinking a lot. I've also been hugging my kids extra strong each night and letting them know I love them from the bottom of my heart. They don't know it yet, but their world is going to change drastically. Everything I do now has a long-term mentality to it. Right now hurts and is painful, but my actions now will dictate my future, and my long-term future looks bright. I have great kids, good friends, a great career with long-term prospects, and my self-esteem is intact. This is gonna hurt, but change and progress isn't easy. I'm happy you're finally letting go and accepting that you can't be married to your wife any longer, OP. She's a serial cheater, regardless of how many times you catch her. How many times she promises not to do it again, I'm afraid the same thing will happen. She'll always cheat. I wish you two had considered going for counseling the first time she cheated. Maybe here she would have realized why exactly she cheated and made efforts not to repeat the same thing. But then again, she can only try if she really loves you. Either way, I support you divorcing her this time. There's nothing to work on or talk about anymore. She's repeatedly thrown your marriage away each time she had an affair with some dude. I believe it's time you look after yourself and pick yourself first. You deserve better than a cheating partner. Good luck, OP. Now for some comments. I went through this with my ex-husband. He cheated over and over, and I stayed and dealt with it time after time, until one day it's like every good thing I saw in him and all the love for him was just gone. I was venting to a friend and they asked me why I felt I didn't deserve more. I did deserve to be treated with consideration, kindness, love, friendship. So do you. No need to have another torturous conversation. She will never change. Ever, ever, ever. You want her to be different, of course, but deep down you know the truth. Make an appointment with a divorce lawyer today. Find out how to protect yourself. That's the most important thing. When you have your ducks in a row, just tell her you're done and serve the papers. She doesn't deserve another chance, man. I wish you the best. You have some rough miles ahead. Please be good to yourself. Call every trusted friend and family member who you know is there for you and lean on them. Don't lose hope. It does get better, but betrayal takes a long time to process and recover from. For years, you've ignored the saying, when someone shows you who they are, believe them. You've allowed yourself to be hurt time and time again. I bet you wouldn't have advised a friend to consistently expose themselves to such pain, drama, and loneliness. So why do it to yourself? Take charge. Yes, there will be custody issues, but your kids are better off having a role model for a father who actively demonstrates self-respect and a commitment to integrity. Yes, religious family members may get judgy. Let them know she repeatedly betrayed the solemn vow and promise she made, and that after repeatedly turning the other cheek, you decided that a life without integrity or honor is no life at all. Everything you're throwing up as a roadblock will take time and effort to get through. But dealing with more cheating from your wife will too. You've dug yourself a deep hole. Getting out of it is going to be exhausting no matter what option you choose. Might as well choose the only option with a chance of a healthy and happy future.